But first, in this hour of news on Al Jazeera, the US Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has told Somalia's beleaguered President Sharif that the United States will continue to support it in its war with Islamist fighters, providing more financial and military help.
There is, of course, an element of self-interest in this. Washington is concerned that fighters like the Al-Shabaab could turn Somalia into a base from which it could threaten the United States. Mohammed Ado has been following the talks in the Kenyan capital, Nairobi.
Hillary Clinton is the highest-ranking U.S. official to meet President Sheikh Ahmed, who is right now fighting for the political survival in Mogadishu, where his palace is surrounded by Al-Shabaab militants. And she told him just exactly what he wanted to hear.
A boost of military supplies and other aid to the government and the African peacekeeping force that is fast becoming its lifeline.
The United States pledges our continued support for President Sheikh Sharif's government. And we have joined IGAD, the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, the Arab League, the Organization of the Islamic Conference, and the African Union in endorsing the Somali-led Djibouti peace process.
Clinton described the Al-Shabaab militia fighting the Somali government as extremists, trying to turn the country into a base for international terrorists. The U.S. Secretary of State also sent a strong warning to Eritrea, demanding that it stops supporting Somalia's militants.
Their actions are unacceptable. Their interference with the rights of the Somali people to determine their own future are the height of misplaced efforts and funding, and we intend to take action if they do not cease.
The Somali president also spoke of his dislike for Al-Shabaab's tactics.
The beheadings and the massive displacement of people are unacceptable. Suicide bombings have also been used to target innocent individuals. This is not what Islam teaches.
The promise of more arms for Somalia indicates that the Obama administration is serious about pursuing a military option for the resolution of Somalia's conflict. Past American interventions in Somalia have not only failed, but some say radicalized Somalia's warring groups. Many Somalis were today paying close attention to a more delicate but highly symbolic matter of diplomacy, whether the president would shake hands with Mrs. Clinton. He did. It is a simple act that his opponents will probably use against him, portraying Sharif, a senior cleric, as an impure Muslim who has lost credibility as an Islamist. But the president's aides say he is no longer interested in appeasing groups like Al-Shabaab, and that his goal now is to show the world that he is a different leader.
After his meeting with Hillary Clinton, Sheikh Ahmed expressed his optimism at things getting better for him and his government in Somalia. He spoke to my colleague Ragi Omar.
We had a frank conversation that went into the details of the Somali problem. There was good preparedness and understanding of the issue, which meant they had given us all that we'd requested of them, be it security, military, political, or humanitarian aid. She had promised us to help in all of these.
Were you surprised by the strength of the language which she used to describe Eritrea's, as she put it, interference in Somalia?
Eritrea is playing a bad role in the problems of the Horn of Africa. We were at a time based in Eritrea, and we are grateful for that. But we will not accept that they destroy our country, or for them to hand it over to Al-Qaeda. For our country to become hostage to Eritrea, that's something we will never accept. You know what Somalia has done for Eritrea and the goodwill between the two societies. So when I say Eritrea, I'm not talking about the Eritrean people. I'm talking about their government.
Some African countries have indicated that they're ready to contribute more troops to the AMISOM mission, the peacekeeping mission in Mogadishu, but there have not been any funds forthcoming from international donors. Was any progress made on this in the talks with Secretary of State Clinton?
This was one of the issues discussed, and it was agreed on. Clinton agreed that she will work on this.
Would you be prepared to see a widening of the mandate for the AMISOM troops in Mogadishu? For example, if they were to be attacked, let's say Al-Shabaab was to attack AMISOM, would you be prepared to widen the mandate so they could go in hot pursuit of any attackers?
I think AMISOM doesn't need a change of mandate. They already have the mandate to defend peace and to respond to enemy fire. So they don't need a mandate change. They need to be completed and to be supplied with the necessary equipments, and for the AMISOM mission to be detailed.
Is Al-Qaeda actually present inside Somalia now?
I think that's a question that doesn't need an answer. Osama bin Laden, Ayman al-Zawahiri, and Al-Qaeda leaders have talked about Al-Qaeda being inside Somalia. And there is always Abu Yahya al-Libi, who seems to be in charge of Somalia. At the beginning of this year, he told Hizbul Islam and Al-Shabaab to continue fighting, even more. If you go to Kismayo, Baed, and Mogadishu, the places where they are, you won't be asking this question, because you will see the people armed and fighting, who include all the nationalities of the world.
Sheikh Sharif's government, however weak or imperfect, is increasingly being seen as the only viable option for a peaceful Somalia that's not only at peace with itself but also with its neighbors. It's well known that the group facing Sheikh Sharif, Sheikh Ahmed, the Al-Shabaab militia, for example, has got its views of, on beyond Somalia's borders, and what they want to establish, they say, is an Islamic caliphate beyond the Horn of Africa and across the world. And this is what the US is hell-bent on trying to avoid. The Al-Shabaab assuming power in Somalia and knocking off power this very fledgling government.
Hillary Clinton also threatened to what she described as take action against Eritrea. What sort of action is she talking about, and why?
Well, it's not the first time the US has hinted on taking action against Eritrea for supporting Somalia's militants. Last year and also early this year, the US had hinted on including Eritrea into the list of countries that sponsor terrorism. And this is one of the actions, if the US is going to take any actions, that will be taken against Eritrea. The Somali president accused Eritrea of trying to settle scores with its neighbor Ethiopia inside Somali territory. He says Eritrea is using Somalia as a proxy battleground for battling Ethiopia, and it's using Islamist militias like Al-Shabaab to get back at Ethiopia. It's been no secret that Eritrea has been hosting people who've been against Sheikh Sharif and also the government before him, or Abdullah Yusuf Ahmed. And what the US is now saying, time is fast running out for Eritrea, and it either stops supporting Somalia's Islamist militants or else it will take action against them.
Well, coming up later in this hour of news on Al Jazeera, China's latest health scare. Beijing cuts off an